the Igbo delegation walked out. Something happened in Abuja that most people will miss, but it will decide how Nigeria is restructured. The Igbo delegation walked out of Ethnic Nationalities Conference. One professor called the whole thing a charade.
The conference was supposed to be a conference of ethno-linguistic nationalities without defining the meaning of ethno-linguistic nationalities to foreclose the possibility of political groups coming in the guise of ethnic nationalities. We've been deceived. This is a charade. And nobody in Nigeria should take what happened today as a serious event.
We are in agreement with the rest of Nigeria who believe that we should restructure Nigeria in a way that its people can govern themselves. Nobody seeks a breakup of the country. We seek to make Nigeria work in a way that's determined by its indigenous people.
One leader said the fight was about history, land, and access to the sea. This is not just about Port Harcourt. This is about who gets to decide who is indigenous in Nigeria. My name is Azuka OJ, and this is Igbo Area TV. Stay with me. Let me break down exactly what happened and why it matters to you.
Igbo Area TV, on the Igbo.
First, what was this conference supposed to be? According to Professor Obasi Igwe, it was supposed to be a meeting of ethno-linguistic nationalities. That means groups tied together by language, culture, and history. Not political parties, not government people in disguise. But after that meeting, Professor Obasi said something strong. He said, this is a charade. Nobody should take what happened today as a serious event. Why? Because he believes the original purpose was hijacked. Then the Igbo delegation stood up and left. Now, a walkout is not just anger. A walkout is a message. It means we do not agree with how this process is going. But what exactly triggered it? To answer that, let's hear directly from Dr Katch Ononuju, the deputy leader of the Igbo delegation. He explained it on Arise TV after the walkout.
All right, and to dive into this discourse, we have joining me right here in the studio, Dr Katch Ononuju, deputy leader of the Igbo delegation to the Abuja Summit on Restructuring. And thank you so much, Dr Katch, for joining. What exactly actually led to that walkout on this access to the sea or the position of rivers, or whether, River State and Port Harcourt should belong, to the Igbo region or not? What exactly are you asking for?
It is I am an Igbo born in Diobu. Diobu was settled at the Willings Commission as a place inhabited by Igbos. Today's Greater Port Harcourt has up to 4 ethnicities in it. You have the Igbos who have come in from the Igbo hinterland, like my family, that came in 1832, alongside Uzurumbamba Naso, Jua Mabu, also known as Jaja of Opopo. He came back to Amibo, where his father is from Umudroha, his mother is from Umuchoke, Umudroha, and then took people from there and from Unkwere to come and establish Opopo. Since that time, my family has been in River State for up to 320 years. Now, we the indigenous Igbos are accepted by the Willings Commission as part of the people of Greater Port Harcourt. You also have the Ikwere who are there. You also have the Okrika who are there in the Greater Port Harcourt. And of course, you also have the Ogoni who are also there in the Greater Port Harcourt space. And we've agreed to share it. Now, indigenous Igbos like me, who were born there before the end of, whose parents were there before the end of slave trade. Because you remember one question when somebody was asked, what is your ethno-indigeneity? And he claimed that some of them came back after slave trade. Even when those two people came back after slave trade, they came to meet people on the ground. Just like when the Yorubas returned from Senegal, the Yorubas now live in Sangros, in Campos, and other parts of Moloni in Lagos. Well, these are Yorubas. So did other people come back. Don't forget, 5 African ethnicities we are recorded to have been taken into slavery. 1, the Bakongo, who live in the Gulf of Guinea from Angola straight into Congo. That's where the Bantu Congos are. And then you have the Igbo in the records. Then you have the Yorubas in the records. You also have the Akan. And also now you have the Mandinka. These are the 5 tribes that are captured in the records as having been taken into slavery. Yeah. So even if you return back after the Emancipation Proclamation, you were now allowed to return back to your area of ethno-indigeneity. Now you see that? So the people didn't fall from heaven. No. That is exactly what we're saying. So those who came back to Igbo land, because Igbos represent the highest single ethnicity in the Niger Delta. The Niger Delta is the areas that contain the deltaic tributaries of the Niger River. It's not an ethnic area. And there you have states like...
That's the Bight of Biafra.
Exactly.
It used to be called.
Well called now Gulf of Guinea. You have, in the Niger Delta thing, you have Anambra State, you have Delta State, you have Abia State, you have Imo State, you have our River State.
All right, Dr. Katch.
All right, you had him. Now let's translate what he was really saying, because there are three big ideas hidden inside that speech. The first idea is history and indigeneity. He was arguing that Igbos have been in Greater Port Harcourt for a very long time. Before Nigeria, before independence, he mentioned family records from 1832. He mentioned colonial commissions that recognized Igbo communities there, like the Willings Commission. His point is simple. You cannot call us settlers. We were on ground first. But the core argument is this. If you lived in a place for 200 years, you have a claim. Now, the second idea, it is not talking about taking over. He was very clear. Greater Port Harcourt has Igbos, Ikweres, Okrika, and Ogoni. And he said they have agreed to share it. That's important. He's not saying chase others away. No. He's saying recognize us as indigenous too. Give us a seat at the table. That's power sharing argument, not a war argument. Then let's look at the slave trade precedent. This was the deepest part. He brought up the fact that during slavery, 5 major African groups were taken. The Bakongo, Igbo, Yoruba, Akan, Mandinka. Some returned, and when they returned to the places like Lagos, nobody questioned them. His question to Nigeria is, if we accept the logic for one group, why reject it for another? Now, here is the reason this caused a walkout, let me tell you. Let's be straight. This is not really about history books. The real fight is about access to the sea. Think about it. In a restructured Nigeria, how will a region survive without a seaport? No port means no trade. You have to rely on others. No trade means no money. No money means poverty. And despite that, this is the people that are known for majority of the imports. Port Harcourt is the closest major seaport to the entire southeast. So when you're drawing the map for a new Nigeria, where you place that line matters a lot. That's why emotions are high, because this is not cultural pride. This is economic survival. And that brings us to Professor Obasi's anger. If the conference was meant for all ethnic nationalities to speak, then why shut down one group because a claim is disputed? Disputed claims are the reason you hold the conference in the first place. So the moment you start deciding who is allowed to speak based on whose history you believe, the conference has already failed. And here is where we stand. The first is that I understand the walkout. If the rules change inside the room, staying means you accept a bad process. The second one, the argument is bigger than talking about one city. It's about precedent. If we can exclude Igbos from Port Harcourt today because their claim is debated, tomorrow someone can exclude another group from another city. We need facts, not noise. Those historical claims about 1832, about Willings commissions, about settlements, we will table them gradually, maybe in subsequent videos. If the evidence is so strong, the case is strong. If not, and one more thing I noticed, Dr. Ononuju ended by saying, nobody is asking to break up Nigeria. According to him, we want Nigeria to walk through self-governance by indigenous people. That's strategic. That tells the rest of Nigeria, this is not about separation, this is about restructuring. Remember in our recent video, a particular Igbo elder came to, I think it was Channels TV. He said the same thing, that Nigerians need to come together and discuss this country. And I like the idea that is being pushed here. Everybody should know their boundary based on linguistics. So we will have to like make sure every Igbo speaking area is carved out, and you will see they will work together. You saw what he said? Nigeria was just, some people sat down and decided how Nigeria should be. They never cared. You put an Igbo man in Benue, you put an Igbo man in Kogi. Why not bring them together? People who are related by culture, by, language and other things. Why not pile them up together? So my people, this walkout is not just news. It is a warning sign. It is telling us that restructuring Nigeria will not be easy. Because anytime you try to redraw lines, people will fight over where the line passes. The question now is not who owns Port Harcourt. The question is who gets to decide who is indigenous. Is it the courts? Is it the people living there? Is it a conference in Abuja? If we don't answer that question fairly, every other discussions will collapse. My wonderful viewers, I want to hear from you, but I would like you to answer these questions on the comment section. Was working out the right decision, or should they have stayed and argued inside? What do you think? The second question is, should access to the sea be guaranteed to every region in a restructured Nigeria? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss like adults, no insults. And if this breakdown helped you understand what happened, please like, share, and subscribe to Igbo Area TV. We will continue to cut part of the videos, that particular video. It's a long video. We'll be cutting it in parts and analyzing. I don't want to analyze the full video for the sake of clarity and understanding. I am Azuka Oji. I will see you in the next one.